do matches everything I heard. Don't chase the win, I left that to the birds. I can't go back from the things that I heard. I can't go back from the things that I heard, no. That's why I'm good where I'm at, though. That's where I'm at, though. Good where I'm at, though. That's where I'm at, though. Good where I'm at, though. That's where I'm at, though. Good where I'm at, though. That's where I'm at, though. Good. 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 Good where I'm at, though. Good.
Welcome back to the All Sports Focus podcast, everyone. Today it's just me, Andy, Ryan, and Troy. We're talking about off-season, draft, about basically everything NFL-wise. Could we haven't talked about it since the Super Bowl. Go Seahawks. But yeah, let's hop right into it. Andy, take the floor.
All right, so like Pep said, we're going to be doing a little NFL offseason recap today. Just kind of talking about some of the biggest storylines. I'm talking about some of the biggest like risers and fallers team-wise through free agency. Then we're going to talk a little quarterback movement. Some big-name quarterbacks changed some teams this offseason. And then we're going to give our little draft preview. We're going to give our top 7 picks. Kind of in lead up in about 2 weeks or so, we're going to do a full mock draft video. Hopefully Sean will be on there. We'll have the whole crew. Basically about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the NFL draft at the end of April. Obviously, it's the most exciting time in the NFL is the draft, especially this year. It feels like it's a pretty loaded top-heavy class. There's not much kind of late-round talent as past years, but this top-end talent should be very good. So we're going to hop right into it. Obviously, the biggest headlines this year. Do you guys have any kind of major trade that really stuck out to you guys throughout this offseason? Anybody just jump in? Is there one that, Pap, let's hear it. Who was yours that really stuck out to you?
I don't know, man. That Max Crosby trade is pretty insane. I mean, I can't believe he's a Raven. I mean, he's great.
Did you see the guy that shaved his head that he said like 2 days before it? He's like, oh, if we get Max Crosby, I'll shave my head. But obviously that didn't last very long. Let's talk about that whole thing. I think that this is a good point you brought up. I think it's kind of ridiculous that the Ravens were able, they were within their rights to back out, but the reasoning that they used was injury concerns, all this stuff. But it's like, they knew it going into it. They were just like, no, we don't want to give up 2 first-round picks anymore. Troy, what's your thoughts on that trade, on that whole kind of situation?
In all honesty, I think what the Ravens did was Bush League, and I don't think a team should just. The way I'm gonna say it is, if I'm a GM in the NFL, I don't know how eager I would be to do business with the Ravens anymore. To be quite honest with you, I mean that trade was pretty much locked in. The only thing they didn't do was the paperwork. And then 2 days later, it's like, actually, we don't want to do that trade anymore. And turns out his physical wasn't that good. I'm like, dude, he just came off surgery. What are we talking about? His physical wasn't good. Would you expect him to be in perfect playing order right now, dude? It's by the time it happened, I think it was like early March, late February. Like, what do you want? Like, he's not gonna be ready yet. The surgery literally just happened. I don't know what they were expecting.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on that whole trade?
Yeah, I think it's such a bad faith move by the Ravens to do that. They wanted to make their big splash trade, and then they saw that they didn't have to give up 2 first-rounders in order to get Trey Hendrickson instead and still get a star defensive end. And I just don't think that there should be some sort of repercussion or some sort of the physical should be completed by an outside entity or something not associated with the team, just to prevent something like this from happening in the future. Because I think I don't know that it'll become the norm, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened in the future with a different team saying, oh, this is an easy way to get out of a trade that maybe we thought was smart at the time, but now that we're looking back on it and we had a night or two to sleep on it, we realized it wasn't smart. And I just don't think it sets a good precedent for how things can work, because you saw the Raiders make so many other free agent signings based on how much cap space they thought they were going to have. And then now you end up stuck with Max Crosby's his contract. And now another team is going to be like, well, why did the Ravens turn him down on his physical? And now we don't want to trade for him because the Ravens turned him down.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's just a lot wrong with that. And obviously, it's not like the Raiders are really stuck with him. He's obviously still a great player. He's still a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL, in my opinion. But obviously, money-wise, they made Trey Tyler Linderbaum, the highest paid center in the NFL. I mean, there's just all these examples of how much money they spent. So obviously they're still going to have Max Crosby. So moving on here, I think the biggest trade that, in my opinion, happened this offseason is Trent McDuffie. I think the biggest trade has to be Trent McDuffie to the Rams. Obviously, the Rams were one game away from the Super Bowl. Obviously, that was the biggest Rams Achilles heel this year, was their secondary. And they got him. I mean, they gave up their 29th overall pick, which the Rams' first-round picks to them is like the 7th-round picks to everybody else because they just be throwing those things away like nothing. They gave up the 29th pick, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, and as well as a 2027 third-rounder. We'll go around the horn here. Who do you guys think won this trade? Obviously, I think he became the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history, I'm pretty sure. So, obviously, you factor that in a little bit. But who do you guys think won this trade? We'll go to Troy first. Who do you think won this trade? The Rams or the Chiefs?
I think it's pretty even for the most part, but I do think, as we have seen in the past, the Rams are willing to give up their draft capital for their kind of win-now situation that they've been in for the past couple years now. So I don't know when this win-now thing is going to end for them, but and I think it's also good for the Chiefs, though, because obviously some of their stars are a little older now, and they're going to need to start looking back into the draft to get some new players, and besides off-the-field issues that their players also have that they're going to have to deal with. But, yeah, I think it's a pretty even trade for the most part. Obviously, like I said, Rams win-now-ish situation, and the Chiefs going to have to start rebuilding it kind of soon. But, yeah, I think it's kind of a 50-50, to be honest.
All right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think, like Troy said, it's kind of what opinion you're looking at it from. The Rams kind of fill their one big hole that they've been missing and kind of help shore up a defense that's playing in the NFC West that has a lot of firepower on the offensive side of the ball. And so that helps them there, and that's a win there. And then the Chiefs, I mean, this is likely Travis Kelce's last year. This is likely Andy Reid's probably last year, or maybe he has one more year. You know, Mahomes is coming off of a major injury and isn't going to be ready till around the end of training camp type of time frame. And so I think it kind of helps both teams. I would lean a little bit more towards the Chiefs winning this trade. I just think because I think Trent McDuffie is deserving of being the highest paid cornerback in the league? No. I think the Rams kind of had to overpay a little bit there. And so from that aspect, I think the contract and cap space and numbers wise, the Chiefs won the trade overall.
Best slot cornerback in the NFL, though. Got to factor that in. I mean, he had the highest blitz rate out of any cornerback. And
yeah, I totally
blitz
agree with
win
that,
rate.
too. I think the Chiefs probably won that overall because I think you keep building on the young core for the Rams and everything. And I think it's just like they have a pretty young core. Like, I mean, Puka's not young anymore, and Puka's absolutely crazy, but he might not even be in the league in a couple years. Let me tell you that. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good overall trade for both sides. I think they both kind of did their own thing, but I think I lean toward the Chiefs because I don't think he is the best cornerback in the league money. So I'm just going to lean with the Chiefs.
I think the other one that we really have to talk about is the Tua trade and just how much dead cap the Miami Dolphins are eating in order to trade him away. It's like $99 million in cap space that they're just eating to not have him on their roster. It's just astronomical to me. And I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Falcons made a good move here, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's two ways to think about it. Like, yeah, they got the trade. I think they wanted their backup to be a lefty. I don't know why. Because they got Michael Penix, they got Tua now. They're both injury prone for the most part. I mean, Tua is just terrible. But I think I kind of like the philosophy of you have a backup as a lefty. Makes it easier to transition as a a receiver. Different spin. We saw that when Michael Penix came into the league, how they're having troubles. I think it might help him out in the long run. Also, I think Tua is an okay quarterback. I wouldn't say I just said he's terrible. I just said he's terrible, but he's not like going to ruin your season at your quarterback, as your quarterback.
Well, obviously, Dolphins eating that big contract. Now, Devon A-Chain just looks like, I don't know if you guys seen that meme, that Bugatti in like that, like little ad garage. That's exactly what's happening. And then, the Falcons, they're not, they got some payment issues of their own, man. They paid Kirko all of that money. They're still having to deal with that. I mean, it's like they're not free of that. I think them having to get Tua on such a cheap contract because they knew the Dolphins were the ones paying for it for the most part. I don't see a problem with it. Like Pap said, lefty, it helps pretty much the whole team. I mean, it's like you don't have to. What's the word here? You
don't have to adjust much.
Yeah, you don't gotta adjust. But yeah, I think Tua, he's gonna not do anything down there. I think the Falcons are still gonna be ass.
I just think it's a bold move to go out and get an injury-prone quarterback as your backup to another injury-prone quarterback.
Hey, who knows who's the starter down there? We don't know.
Michael Penix ain't going to be ready at the beginning of the year.
It's true. There was really no reason to move on from him. He was under contract.
It never made any sense to draft Michael Penix in the first place, 8th overall. I mean, if we're going to look at the whole problem as a whole, I mean, that's what it all started from. I mean, they just signed a quarterback to a 4-year, $160 million contract. And then you're like, yeah, let's draft a quarterback top 10. I mean, like, who in that room thought that was a good idea? I mean, seriously. Because, like, even if your goal was to, like, sit behind him for a year, which that didn't happen, you're going to pay your backup quarterback $40 million. And obviously, the people that drafted him don't have a job anymore. They got fired. So, I mean, it's like, not saying I know more than these NFL organizations, but like kind of sitting here looking at it, it's like, maybe I do in some situations, because it's like, what is going through these GMs' heads to be like, you know what? Yeah, let's take a guy who's torn his ACL twice at 8th overall, and then in his second year, he tears his ACL again. All right, moving on. I think the only other major trade to really talk about, in my opinion, is the Jalen Waddle trade. Sticking with the whole Dolphins theme here. The Dolphins completely are rebuilding. The Broncos send over a first-round pick and I think a 4th or a 3rd. Obviously, it's a late round. It was the 30th pick, so basically a second-round pick is what I view that. But obviously a good deal for both teams, I would say. Dolphins, are really just embracing the entire rebuild. Also, at the same time, you've brought a new quarterback, and who is he going to throw the ball to besides Devon Achane? Who knows? But you got Bo Nix, another weapon for the Denver Broncos, so good for them. All right, moving on here to our next topic, just kind of free agency winners and
You're
losers.
missing a trade.
Who?
The Bills overpaying for DJ Moore.
You really want to talk about that? That the fact that the Bears scammed him for a second-round pick? Do we want to talk about that?
I mean, yeah, because Sean and I have both been saying the Bills needed a receiver for a while here, and I mean, I like getting DJ Moore, and I think he fits well in the system, and he has played very well under Joe Brady in the past. He had his best season when Joe Brady was the OC in Carolina, and previous to this past year, so 2 years ago, he was a great contributor for the Bears too, but as more trades went on in the NFL, it just made it seem more and more so that they way overpaid. And I think if we would have waited a couple of days or even just one day into the league new year starting, you could have gotten him for significantly less.
Yeah, I just just looking at some of the other trades around the league. I mean, giving up a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle. Obviously, DJ Moore's not on the same level as the other. Who did I say first? But you get what I'm saying. Obviously, it's a little bit of an overpay. But moving on here to the free agency winners and losers. Top teams that we kind of really think improved. Obviously, I think me and Troy's teams here, I think both the Panthers and the Giants really improved a lot. The Panthers got a big-time signing in Jalen Phillips. They got Devin Lloyd, 2 really big signings for their defense. And on the Giants end, I mean, getting Isaiah Likely and kind of, not overpaying for Wan'Dale Robinson and kind of filling those pieces elsewhere, I think is really big. And it shows that we're actually a competent franchise now with John Harbaugh at the helm. So, yeah, Ryan or Pap? We'll go to Pap first. Pap, who do you think is your kind of, your team that really improved in free agency so far?
I was going to say the Panthers, man. I mean, sure, big-time signings. You're going to really I think it's going to propel them for the future really well because they just had a decent season last year. I mean, they made the playoffs. They gave the Rams a run for their money. Who says they can't go do it again this year? I mean, the Buccaneers are going to be they're going to be tough this year probably again. I think they're always solid the first 9 games, and the last 8 games are they're a little iffy. Yeah, so I mean, NFC South is going to be a battle for the next couple of years, and I think Panthers are just continually to get more competent.
Don't count out the Saints though either. The Saints made a couple big moves, getting Travis Etienne. Now is how you're supposed to say his last
Etienne.
name. It's Travis Etienne Jr. So yeah, I don't know. It was just I was watching the Pat McAfee show the other day, and they were talking about that. So Troy, who is your kind of team that really improved? Obviously, don't say the Panthers because me and Pat both said the Panthers, but we know you agree with that. But who's your team that improved?
I will say, as much as I think we did have to do it, I think we did overpay Jalen Phillips a little bit. I just had to get that in there. He's definitely a great talent, but I don't know if he was worth that much. Anyway, yeah, I think the Giants, just because they're kind of becoming like the New York Ravens right now, they're just picking up every single piece that John Harbaugh left behind, and I guess that it might work out for them. They got a young quarterback, young core over there, so they'll probably work out better for them than it did over in Baltimore.
Okay, we're seriously comparing the Ravens wide receiver core to Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors by himself outweighs every wide receiver that Lamar Jackson had. Malik Neighbors is miles better than Zay Flowers. Argue with a wall. I don't think it's even close when healthy. But Patrick Ricard with Cam Scadaboo running behind him, that's just have fun tackling that, dude. It's a linebacker's worst nightmare. Ryan, who is your, big winner here of the free agency?
Honestly, I have to say the Raiders. I definitely would not disagree in saying the Panthers made a ton of huge moves, but I think the Raiders, even though they ended up still with Max Crosby, but the amount of big splash signings that they made, and now setting yourself up also, you're going to be the number 1 overall pick come in the draft here in a couple weeks. I think they set themselves up well to potentially compete in the AFC West, and they're still a couple years away from being where they need to be, but I think they really righted the ship and got themselves on an upward trajectory here.
All right, so then on the flip side of things, kind of the biggest losers, as a team, I'll start this off because I am more than happy to talk shit about this team, and I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, they were in the Max Crosby sweepstakes. They honestly didn't really make any other moves. There's a bunch of drama going on now, kind of swirling about the whole George Pickens situation, if he's going to play under the franchise tag, so they got to deal with that situation now. And they basically gave up Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary. So, what'd you say, Pat?
A bag of potato chips? Lay's,
yes.
Preferably?
Yes. I would say about a half-eaten bag of potato chips. I wouldn't even give them a full bag. I mean, the Packers scammed them. But I just don't think the Cowboys made any sort of moves. The defense is still not good by any means. And I think I'm gonna fire out a pre-fire right now. If I think the Cowboys finish in 4th place in the NFC East this upcoming season. I think they finish in 4th because I just think all the other 3 teams, obviously the Eagles still being the Eagles, and I think the Commanders and Giants got better than the Cowboys did. So if Jaden Daniels can stay healthy and Dart can stay healthy, I think they'll be better than the Cowboys. So that's just my little hot take, and also I hate the Cowboys, so I'm never going to pick them. But Pap, who's your kind of loser of free agency?
God, man. I mean, I love to do the same thing. I think the Bears lost a lot. I wouldn't say their secondary was good, but they lost their whole secondary. They lost Tremaine Edmonds, and I think they obviously lost DJ Moore, but they got a 2nd-round pick back. So
and their center retired.
And their center retired after having a Pro Bowl year. So I mean, they got freaking Bradbury from Patriots, but he's not even close to what Dalman was at. So I think they definitely didn't win free agency. I wouldn't say they're the worst, but they came to mind. Yeah, I just don't know if that's gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna rebound off a decent, not a great free agency and be able to propel to another 10-win season because I think they're winning 7 games at most.
Wow. All right. Me and Pap shooting out some hot takes here early in the offseason, but I like it. Troy, who's your loser of free agency here?
Probably Cowboys. Not great. I mean, they didn't pick up a whole lot, but they also didn't lose a whole lot in the offseason. It's just kind of like they just kind of sat there. I feel like that's what they do. They just kind of sit there and do nothing. But with those new wide receiver contracts and the franchise tag being what it is, they might end up having to pay George Pickens like a lot of money. But also the Ravens, they just kind of got robbed by the Giants, and everyone left there and just went over there. And I think the Ravens are going to be battling with the Browns for last place in that division. That's all I got to say there.
Ryan, who's your loser? And please don't say the Chiefs because we know the Chiefs had a good offseason.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I have two, and neither one are the Chiefs. Number one, my loser is JJ McCarthy because I don't think he's going to have a job. I think the Vikings signing Kyler Murray is kind of the writing on the wall that they were not happy with how he played. But the team-wise one, I think, was the Jaguars, losing Devin Lloyd and Travis, however the hell he wants to say his last name now. A-Chain. Losing two kind of star guys from your playoff run team is going to be tough to replace. And I think you're going to just be asking more of Travis Hunter because they tried to replace with Chris Rodriguez, who is not on the same caliber of a running back. And so I think there's going to be more pressure on Trevor Lawrence and more pressure on Travis Hunter. And I just think they're going to kind of go back from the season that they had this past year.
Yeah. My last one here that I'm going to toss out there, I think, is the Indianapolis Colts. I think they ridiculously overpaid for two players in Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce obviously doesn't really, he's getting what I think I saw he's getting like 31 or 32 or somewhere in that range million a year for a wide receiver who got his first 1,000 yard season of his career. And like 95% of his catches are just straight go balls. I mean, he has just go balls and posts. I mean, there's just nothing really that I see from that's like worth that amount of money. And then obviously I think the Daniel Jones contract, I don't see it. I mean, it's kind of the same thing he did with the Giants. He had one really good year and he's coming off an Achilles injury too.
He never bounced back from those.
Yeah. I
never bounced back from Achilles injuries.
I don't see it. What, Pat? I mean, what, Troy?
Kevin Durant. Yeah, we're talking about
Pap
football.
said you never bounced back from those, and Troy said Kevin Durant.
We're talking about football.
Wrong podcast, brother. You missed that one this morning. You missed that one this morning.
Troy didn't even get on the podcast. Tisk. All right.
So I sent a message out. Yeah, I sent a message out, and then he was like, "Oh, I thought you meant 11:30." And I was like, "No, but I had to get off at 11:30."
All right, moving on here. You know, Ryan kind of mentioned it. What'd you say?
Let's get into this damn mock draft. How about that, man?
That's what we're getting to. All right.
Yeah. Hey. Who's going number one? How about we just clear that one off the board because none of us are going to say anything else but Mendoza.
If you're Dan Orlovsky, it's Ty Simpson.
Can you guys let me finish what I was trying to say? There's one more thing we need to talk about. Okay. Is the quarterbacks, okay? Because we hadn't gotten to talk about them yet. I don't understand how this is not. No, we didn't. We did not talk about Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, and Malik Willis, and Justin Fields. Obviously, none of these are like groundbreaking deals or groundbreaking moves, but they're still a pretty big deal. And I think the J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray one is the biggest one that Ryan obviously brought up. But obviously, I mean, it's basically the Vikings saying, we don't believe in J.J. McCarthy. He is not our quarterback of the future. We're going to bring in Kyler Murray for the veteran minimum because the Cardinals are still paying him like $40 million this year. So, obviously, the writing's on the wall for J.J. McCarthy. Do you guys think this means a trade is incoming for J.J. McCarthy? Do you think they kind of hold on to him for another year? What are your guys' kind of opinions on the future of J.J. McCarthy? Pap, I'll let you go first.
I was kind of thinking about that before the podcast, kind of just bouncing ideas up the wall with my roommate. I just don't know what they're going to do. I just don't know what J.J. McCarthy can do this season. Besides, he really just can't play bad. He's in a really tight restriction on what he can do. Because if he has one bad game, one bad series early, they can just go to Kyler Murray. He's proved a lot in this league. So I don't know if he's even tradable? I mean, you can go send him somewhere and they can try again with him. But at the same time, like, is that even worth it? Because you can't just like go send a 7th-round pick for JJ McCarthy. That's a first-round undrafted quarterback and first-round pick quarterback, and like you're gonna have to at least a third or a fourth, and our team's willing to give that up.
I think Kyler Murray's going to be the starter. I don't see why else the Vikings would make this move if Kyler Murray wasn't going to be the starter. Troy, what are your thoughts on it? The worst quarterback room in ever. Flashback to Ryan predicting this. I mean, 2 years ago, Ryan on the podcast predicted this. But go ahead and what's your thoughts on this, Ryan?
I see a lot of similarities to the whole Trey Lance situation with the 49ers. I mean, drafting him number 3 and ended up just having to trade him for basically nothing. And I think what Troy and Pap said is right, that there's really not a market for him. If you're an NFL team who's looking for a backup quarterback, he's not the first person that you're looking at. And so cost-wise, I don't see them getting much of a return on investment. And I see it becoming more of an Anthony Richardson type of case where you bring in Daniel Jones and you just kind of let him compete. And if he loses out, then he kind of just slowly fades away and then snaps a exercise band in his face. And who knows what happens from there. But I don't see him playing much at all this season. And I think by the end of the year, he is either cut or somebody trades for a 6th or 7th round pick just to offload him is about it.
What numbers? All right. All right, moving on here. I know. The last topic here we're going to talk about, obviously, is our little NFL draft preview. And like I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to be doing a full-fledged mock draft video in about 2 weeks here. But we're just going to give our top 7 picks, starting off with the Raiders. Obviously, Ryan said it. I mean, Dan Orlovsky is like going crazy that Ty Simpson should be the first quarterback off the board, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous. To sit there and say that, because we watched Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza play in the same game. Obviously, Ty Simpson got hurt, but that should be the big tell. I mean, does anybody here, let's just go around. Raiders are taking Fernando Mendoza. No objections. Okay, moving on. Number 2, the New York Jets. This is where, like from past years, this is where the draft really starts because the first pick is the first pick in Mendoza. So, it's going to go around the horn here. We're going to start off with Troy. Troy, who is your number 2 overall pick to the New York Jets?
Arvell Reese.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good pickup. They need some defensive help after getting rid of Quinnen and then Sauce. So trying to rebuild the defense a little bit would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I lean towards Arvell Reese. I think the other potential option here is David Bailey, the edge from Tech. But I lean towards Arvell Reese here at number 2 for the Jets.
Pat?
Yeah, I think Arvell Reese too. I mean, they kind of totally revamped their defense over the offseason. They got, what's his name? Minka Fitzpatrick, and then they also got Pro Bowl cornerback Nashawn Wright. So it's just a great pickup. That's really going to help out their team. And yeah, I think Arvell Reese is the only answer for them. I think it's going to mesh well with their defense because they really revamped it this offseason.
And Ryan hinted at it. I'm actually going to go David Bailey out of Texas Tech. I just think his kind of stock has really rose over these the combine and pro day times, and it's the most Jets thing ever to do to have an obvious pick in Arvell Reese and go somewhere else. So that's why I'm going David Bailey. All right, moving on to number 3 in the Arizona Cardinals. I'll start us off. This is where I have Arvell Reese going at number 3 to the Cardinals. They have so many needs on this damn team. They could go literally anywhere, but I'm going Arvell Reese. Troy?
Yeah, this is where obviously I'm going Bailey. But like you said, the Cardinals organization, they might want to just compete in the XFL for a couple years, get reestablished as an actual football team. But because I mean, realistically, it's honestly like we always talk about how the Browns and the Jets are like embarrassments. What have the Cardinals done since they've like been created? Like they went to the Super Bowl one time. Greatness,
being good.
Yeah, especially being in that division too, where you got to play the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners 6 times a year. I mean, they're going to be bad for a long time. So, Ryan, who do you got the Cardinals taking?
Yeah, I've got them going David Bailey here. kind of the opposite of whoever the Jets take. I think they take here at 3.
I'm gonna go with Francis Maga or whatever it's Magawa or something from Miami. I think he's a guy. I think if you want to rebuild a team, it starts with the offensive line. You've seen that so many times with so many different teams. I think it's a safe pick to go with him.
All right, moving on to number 4 and the Tennessee Titans, or should I say the Tennessee Giants, because they brought the entire New York Giants offense and a couple of their defensive pieces over with Brian Dable. By the way, that's a team we meant to talk about with the losers because they thought it was a good idea with Saleh being the old Jets coach and Dable being the old Giants coach to be like, both of our teams were so successful. Let's just bring over all of our players that played for our teams while we were in New York. I don't see why this won't work. What in the world are they doing? But the Tennessee Titans, Troy, who do you have the Titans taking here at number 4?
I've got them taking Jeremiah Love. I think they try to help out Cam Ward and get some sort of a weapon in the backfield. And Jeremiah Love showed throughout the whole season with Notre Dame that he can be a game changer, and I think they take him here.
I'm going to go David Bailey, man. I think that they kind of revamped that defensive line also in the offseason, and with Robert Saleh, I mean, he kind of is a defensive guy. I think that'd be the last piece they need to really get that defense on the right side of it and help them win more games down the stretch.
Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, like Pap said, a guy who's really rose up the ranks through the combine. I got him going linebacker Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. Dude's a stud. I really want the Giants to take him if he's there at 5. But I think positional value really comes into play when you're looking at Jeremiah Love because obviously overall he might even be the best player available in the draft. But we've seen in past years with running backs, they don't always, aren't always the most sought after high in the draft because of positional value. And I'm hoping if the Giants take him at 5 or if the Titans take him at 4, I would not be surprised. But I got him going Sonny Styles. And then with the Giants at number 5, I think the Giants will take basically whoever the Titans don't take. So I've got the Giants going Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. John Harbaugh was chopping him up at the Ohio State Pro Day yesterday. He was talking to him for like 30 minutes, report said. So I'm going Caleb Downs. Troy? Ryan?
I've got him going Sonny Styles here too. I think overall probably best value and fits really well with the new system in New York. So you really can't pass him up. I mean, as good as Caleb Downs is, you can't pass up Sonny Styles if he's still available.
I have 2 options here. I'm probably going to say if Jeremiah Love's there, they're going to take Jeremiah Love, and I know you don't want to hear that, but because you like Scat, but I think that Scat is just kind of a Pacheco type of guy, and I don't know if he's going to be able to keep sprouting the way he did. He got injured, and he runs so hard, but you can't pass up on Jeremiah Love. He's going to be the best running back, one of the best running backs in the league right when he steps on the field. So I think that's something you can't pass up on if he's there. And if he's not there, they're going to go with Carnell Tate from Ohio State. I think they're going to go match Malik Neighbors with Carnell Tate, and I think that'd be a good replacement for Wandale.
We signed a couple wide receivers though in free agency, so I think that might maybe cross him off the board. I wouldn't doubt it though. I mean, who knows? This is a brand new regime here with the Giants, so I have no idea where in the world they're going to go with this draft. But being up this early, I mean, me and Troy have learned it. Being the kind of bottom feeder franchises, you can basically take the best player available when you're up here. So you kind of just, do what you need to do. So number 6 here in the Cleveland Browns here. I've got them taking Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Got 4 straight Buckeyes going here in the draft, and they need some weapons to build around Shador. So yeah, I've got them going Carnell Tate. Troy? The Browns are just sorry. I mean, let's just be honest. They're just always going to be sorry. There's just no other way to put it. All right, Ryan, who you got the Browns taking?
I've got them going Francis Maigawa, the tackle from Miami. I think kind of what Pap was saying earlier. They need to go get some sort of protection at either tackle, or you could even move him into guard potentially to protect whether it's Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders or whoever it is starting. you have to rebuild with the offensive line, and then you can come back into the first round at the end and get a receiver or early second round and get a receiver or weapon at that point. But you don't need to. You'd rather build with the offensive line and get weapons later.
I'm going to go with Spencer Fanu from Utah, offensive tackle. I think they're just going to keep putting guys in the offensive line to protect either Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. So I think that's just I don't really have much to say about it. I just think that's what they're going to go with.
Yeah. All right, and moving on here to our last kind of pick of this short mock draft, and it's the Commanders at number 7. And this is where I got Jeremiah Love going. I think if he falls down this far, this is the farthest he will fall because the Commanders really need a workhorse running back, and Jeremiah Love will do just that for him. Troy? McShaffrey! Ryan?
I think offense needs help, but I think they go Reuben Bain Jr. here to try and build some sort of a pass rush to help them out. So I think they go defense to try and shore that up. And then again, like the Browns, like I said, you go back and get weapons in the late first round, early second round.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the same thing with the Giants. Either Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Love, whoever's open. So I'm just going to say Jeremiah Love for the spot, probably more likely because of Scott Packett over in New York. So I'm just going to go with Jeremiah Love, and he's just going to grant them 20 years of just workhorse, bully ball, probably 2,000-yard seasons straight out of freaking college.
20 years? Is he just invincible?
No.
My
of 2,000-yard seasons, yes. He might have 40,000 yards in his career. He's the best running back you've ever laid your eyes on.
Oh my goodness, bro!
You'll see.
End the episode?
He's a mixture of Saquon, CMC, and he can run through someone like Derrick Henry.
End the episode. Please end the episode.
All right, so that's going to do it for this.
Best running back ever. The best trade.
Going to do it for this week's episode. We really appreciate you guys for listening. Obviously, me, Troy, and Ryan all have our Focus Golf merch on. Pap left his at home, but obviously go check out the website at allsportsfocusnetwork.com. We've got hats, polos, quarter zips, the golf towel. As the weather starts to warm up here in Michigan, we're going to start making some golf YouTube videos. So you will see the merch out on the golf course. We're really excited to kind of show that off. You'll see Troy snap hooking a couple drives off hole 1's tee box. But trust me, I'll be there as well. So go make sure to check out the website at allsportsfocusnetwork.com and use the 10% off code of FG10 for 10% off your first order. And make sure Ryan just sent an email this morning, kind of, letting everybody know. Make sure to subscribe to the email list so you're up to date on all the discounts and all the new, postings that come out from that. So we go check that stuff out. Make sure to check out the Instagram, the YouTube, the TikTok, all the social media pages. We appreciate you guys for all the support. Anybody else got anything left to say here on this episode? No? All right. So this episode and Swish Theory will be coming out this week. Be on the lookout for a Diamond Report episode and possibly another Swish Theory. And then you'll be seeing the first Focus Golf podcast episode coming out ahead of the Masters here in about a week and a half. So we're excited to be pumping out all these different podcasts. Go check out all the social media pages. We appreciate you guys as always, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.